Hi there, a very good morning to all our viewers. You've tuned in to this live broadcast on Moneycontrol. You're watching Newspresso with me, Stacey Pereira. And as the drill goes, we're going to be getting you the lowdown of all the top stories across the globe, insights from India, as well as the latest trends, giving you that edge and keeping you informed. So let's get straight to it and bring you all that we're getting from our global dispatch. Well, it seems like an August sell-off seems to have ignited or reignited on Wall Street as stocks have retreated in the last session. The Dow Jones shed over 150 odd points to close, even though the index dropped about 456 points to the session's low during intraday trade. Now, the S&P 500 and Nasdaq too pulled back, with Tuesday's session being the fifth negative day out of 6 sessions for both the S&P as well as the Nasdaq. But it was the banking stocks that fell the most, this after Moody's downgraded the credit rating on several regional banks, including M&T Bank as well as Pinnacle Finance, citing deposit risk as well as the potential recession and struggling commercial real estate portfolios. Now, the credit agency also placed Bank of New York Mellon and the State Street on review for a downgrade. Now, while Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan Chase slid around 2.1% and 0.6% respectively, the regional bank ETF has lost as much as 28% in March alone amidst the failure of that Silicon Valley bank. And towards Europe, where European markets too saw a pullback in yesterday's session as investors brace for that significant inflation data that was due this week. We still have US data that is pending, and also reacting to that shock from the banking sector, where we saw that bank tax being announced in Italy. Now, it was the banks that shed the most, about 2.7%, and leading those losses. Most of the sectors slid and were in the red. But we did have the healthcare stocks which bucked the trend and added about 3.2%, mostly led by Danish pharmaceutical firm Novo Nordisk, whose shares went up by 17% in trade alone, this after a strong drug trial result. Now, investors will now be shifting focus towards that inflation data. We do have China's data that has just come out a short while back, whereas US CPI, which will be released tomorrow. But talking about the Italian banks, now that one was quite a shocker and took a beating, those banking stocks, yesterday after Italy's cabinet approved a 40% windfall tax on lenders' excess profit of 2023. Now, the government added that the 40% levy on banks' extra profits was derived from the higher interest rates and could amount to several billion euros and will be used to cut taxes and also offer financial support to mortgage holders. The effects were seen beyond Italy, with even the German bank Commerzbank was down about 3.2%, whereas Deutsche Bank was trading 2% lower in trade yesterday. And towards the Asia-Pacific region, where markets have opened on a mixed note, one could say, this Wednesday, as investors are slowly digesting that data coming out of China. The country's consumer price index has fallen in July for the first time in 28 months. Now, CPI has slipped to 0.3%, smaller than the 0.4% that was estimated. The last time China recorded a fall in its inflation rate was back in February of 2021. Now, while China's producer price index, or PPI as we know it, which measures the change in selling price received by the domestic producer for their output, that one has fallen by about 4.4% in the month of July. Mainland Chinese indices right now are trading lower. If you look at the Shanghai Composite, that one is down by about 0.29%. Japan's Nikkei 225 too is slid a bit marginally, while South Korea's Kospi, that one has climbed by about 1.09%, while Australia's S&P ASX 200 is also trading just marginally higher. And towards the earnings that have been trickling in, we did hear from SoftBank, which really shocked the markets with a surprise loss in the first quarter of April to June. But the Japanese tech conglomerate has posted a rare investment gain at its massive tech-focused Vision Fund. Now, the group reported a net loss which is attributable to the owners of the parent by about 477.6 billion yen, or roughly translates to about $3.3 billion. This versus the $75 billion yen, which was expected in profits by the street. Now, however, SoftBank's Vision Fund, which closely watched by investors as the indicator of the health of the tech sector, booked in an investment gain of 159.8 billion yen, which translates to about $1.1 billion. It is the first gain in about 5 consecutive quarters. In fact, both Vision Fund 1 and 2, which invests in high-growth stocks, have faced headwinds from rising interest rates globally, causing investors to sell out of riskier equities such as tech. But this Q2 results seems like a turnaround for the Japanese tech guru Masayoshi Son's beleaguered Vision Fund. So we are going to see more investment, perhaps even if it is in India, because they do invest heavily into Indian startups as well. Moving on then and bringing you up to speed with all the AI-related news. Now, we did have Disney too, which came out with its results, but also came out saying that they will be creating a new task force to study AI. Now, do know that this comes amidst that ongoing Hollywood writers' protest. Now, Disney's AI task force wants to develop AI applications in-house and in partnership with new startups. Now, Disney has 11 job openings that need candidates with expertise in AI or even machine learning, and the company wishes to establish an AI across their businesses, from theme parks to its Imagineering as well as advertising teams. Now, meanwhile, Hollywood writers' strike is nearing its 100-day mark. The LA mayor has called for immediate resolution as the prolonged protests have had a negative impact on the economy. Let's also get to a quick look at what went down on Dalal Street yesterday. We did see the Nifty 50 open on a positive note, but was unable to capitalize on those gains. By the end of the session, we did see the Sensex, which was down about 100 odd points, whereas the Nifty just managing to hold on to that 19,500 levels. It was a likely consolidation, which we are going to see continue perhaps on the street in the same range if no serious triggers are seen. Now, the broader markets, the broader indices, small cap as well as mid cap, those one managed to stay in the positive, gaining about 0.2% each. But apart from the PSU banks and pharma stocks, all other sectors ended in the red. The stocks that were outperformers yesterday included Gland Pharma, Indian Bank as well as Manappuram Finance. And to all the buzz that is doing the rounds in the corporate circles, we get to hear that Adani Enterprise Limited is exploring selling its stake in its Mumbai-listed consumer staple joint venture with Wilmar. Now, this is with the Wilmar International Group. This could free up capital for the core business. Now, the conglomerate has been considering what this would really bring to it, considering about selling 44% stake in Adani Wilmar for a few months now. And when last checked, Adani's share was worth about $2.7 billion at the current market price. Now, billionaire Gautam Adani and his family, though, may retain a minority stake in personal capacity following this stake, while Wilmar's co-founder Koyok Kun Hong could also decide to retain his stake in the business. Now, all these stocks are at a preliminary stage, and according to people who are in know of the matter, so we will have to see how this really transpires, but that could be a stock that should be on your radar, Adani Wilmar, today after the buzz around this stake sale from billionaire Gautam Adani. Well, and on to the political developments that we've been seeing. Now, bringing you the latest updates from the monsoon session of Parliament. The much anticipated debate on that no trust motion against the BJP government, that one started yesterday with heated exchanges between the Treasury as well as the opposition benches. Now, Congress leader Gogoi opened the debate and urged PM Modi to come to the House and also address the Manipur issue, while BJP lawmakers Nishant Dubey said that the debate was not about expressing distrust in the government, but about taking stock of the trust factor within the opposition parties. Now, Congress MP Manish Tiwari also raised a question over the India-China talks and said that the nation needs to know about these border talks that are ongoing, while the BJP Minister Kiren Rijiju said that the Northeast has faced several issues even before 2014, and in fact, racial discrimination and atrocities have reduced after BJP came to power. The Parliament proceedings will now reconvene today at 11 a.m. But let's listen into some of those arguments that transpired between the opposition and the BJP.
प्रधानमंत्री जी कहते हैं कि ये अविश्वास प्रस्ताव नहीं है, ये अपोजिशन में विश्वास प्रस्ताव है कि कौन अपोजिशन में कौन किसके साथ है। महाभारत का एक बड़ा कहानी है सर कि द्रौपदी का चीरहरण हो रहा था और पूरे चाहे कौरव पक्ष के लोग हों चाहे पांडव पक्ष के लोग हों, वो सभी जो है चीरहरण को देख रहे थे। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जब परिवारवाद की बात करते हैं ना, तो इनको लगता है कि परिवार की बात करते हैं।
Now, we do like to get you little nitbits from the tech and startup world, and we do know how Ola Electric made quite a big bang when it released that electric scooter back on 15th of August of 2021. Now, this time around too, we get to hear that Ola was planning a release of a variant of its S1 scooter on Independence Day. However, details about the new bike were under embargo and were also confidential and were not to be leaked out in public, but have happened to have so. Now, Ola's founder Bhavish Agarwal is rather miffed about this leak and took to X, which is formerly Twitter, demanding an apology. He's also decided that no auto journalists will get a sneak peek of their products from here on before the launches, and products will only be shown to journalists once the customers get to see the launch. Now, going by the image that was released by Bhavish Agarwal himself and what was leaked out, one could expect the Ola's most affordable EV that could be released, that will be called the S1X and could be priced well below 1 lakh rupees. And for all of you B-Town fans who are watching the show, well, the much anticipated Don3 is finally been announced, and this time around, it's not the Badshah of Bollywood who will be taking the franchisee forward. That's right. Yesterday, Farhan Akhtar announced the launch of Don3 movie on social media platforms and said that the new star will be headlining the movie. Now, Farhan said that the works for the movie will begin by 2025. Farhan will be directing the film, of course, and although the actor has not been announced yet, it is anticipated that Ranveer Singh will perhaps be headlining the movie. But if you are a Bollywood fan and you would want to see someone new taking the throne of Don, do tell us in the comment section who you think would really fit that character, who you would like to see as the new face of Don to take that legacy forward. All right, then let's look at what we have to see coming up later today. We do have a couple of earnings that are quite important. We have Tata Power, we do have Z Entertainment, we have Bharat Forge, as well as IRCTC. So you need to be looking out for these counters in trade as well as what they come out with their numbers. We also have the last AGM that is going to be chaired by A.M. Nayak for L&T. This is before he retires. So this is going to be an important one. But we're also going to get the man himself in an exclusive interview to Moneycontrol before he steps down. So you might want to watch out for that later today. We're going to be getting you A.M. Nayak exclusive before he stepped down as the chairman of L&T. But also to the other parts where we do have a two-day discussion of the no confidence motion that we just spoke about. And in that, we're likely to see Home Minister Amit Shah, who will intervene and speak about the Manipur issue. We are given to understand that might happen around 5 p.m. today. But we also have 5 MPs who claim that Raghav Chadha named them wrongly during the Delhi bill debate, and they've decided to go ahead and file a defamation notice against the AAP MP. So we're going to see how that transpires and what really takes place, whether he's going to be suspended as well. So those are all questions that are coming up from the political front. And in the world of sports, we do have India, which will take on Pakistan at the Asian Hockey Championship Trophy. Yes, we do have a lot of noise when it's an India-Pakistan match in cricket, but so are we as good as hockey champions as well. So that is something you need to watch out for. If hockey is something that interests you, it is the national sport, of course. That match will begin at 8:30 p.m. IST today. So look out for that India-Pakistan match. But it seems like that's all the time we have on this dose of Newspresso. It is a wrap, but don't forget to come back tomorrow, same place, same time, for your fresh shot of Newspresso. From all of us that put this show together, thanks so much for tuning in.